Hi everyone, and greetings once again from Radio Wasteland Records. It is time for our weekly foray into some of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you. Just the tip of the iceberg though with a lot of these because the list is just way too large to get into. If you'd like to see that full list though of the releases, just head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, just look for the upcoming releases link. Click on that and you'll be treated to a beautiful PDF of the entire list. But before we get to the highlights list for this upcoming week, I want to talk about something that was just announced that's actually kind of big here in the mid-Michigan area and Michigan in general. But if you're a fan of Billy Strings and bluegrass, here is something that is on the horizon. Billy Strings has announced the Billy Strings Live Volume 1 due for release coming up in July 12th to be exact on this. This one is going to be a double LP, and there is a black vinyl version and a blue indie exclusive vinyl version of this as well. I think there was a Billy Strings website exclusive, but that one probably sold out fairly quickly. But just something to keep in mind. This could be a big one for pre-orders, at least for us. If this is something you'd like, you need to let us know as soon as possible so we can get those pre-orders in. Looks like the price tag on that's going to be up there a little bit, though, listing for about $45. But again, Billy Strings Live Volume 1 on blue indie exclusive vinyl. That one scheduled for release on July 12th. Onward now, though, to the highlights of the releases coming up for June 7th, 2024. Quite a good list this week, including a bunch of new releases, including this brand new one from John Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi, the artist, technically speaking. This one is called Forever. Brand new stuff featuring 12 new songs from one of history's most iconic bands, Bon Jovi, including the new lead single, Legendary. Looks like this one is only on black vinyl, and the list price for the new Bon Jovi Forever coming in at a suggested price of $33. All right, I'm kind of conflicted about this next one, and it's only, this is very superficial of me, only because of the cover art. This is Temple of Blues, Influences and Friends by Cactus, coming from Cleopatra Records. It is a double LP on red vinyl. And the description says one of the baddest, meanest, most unsung heroes of classic rock, Cactus, recreate their greatest moments with the help of their many admirers and acolytes. So including founding Cactus members, drummer Carmine Appice, or Appice, however you choose to pronounce that, and guitarist Jim McCarty, joined by the likes on this album of Joe Bonamassa, Ted Nugent, Billy Sheehan, Bumblefoot, Dee Snider, Pat Travers, plus members of Government Mule, Vanilla Fudge, Living Color, Vixen, and many more. So this looks like it's going to be a great album with lots of great blues, but I just cannot get past the awful photoshopping of the cover to make it look like it's got a group shot going on there. Anyhow, regardless, that's my opinion. Temple of Blues, Influences and Friends from Cactus. This one, as we mentioned on red vinyl double LP, coming in at a suggested list price of $40. Next up is something I thought we talked about a few weeks ago, so I'm assuming it got delayed because here it is, scheduled for release on the 7th of June. Nell Ora Blue from Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, brand new stuff from them. Plainly the most radical album of their career, according to the description here. They talk about how this album will stand out from the sterile desert of rock and roll in 2024 like a gore-drenched beacon. Yeah, I do remember that. So double LP, Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats. Nell Ora Blue looks like it's now rescheduled for the 7th of June, coming in at a suggested list of $36. Brand new stuff also from Eels. This is called Eels Time. The description says that Eels, the ever-changing, critically acclaimed project, have released 14 studio albums since 1996 with their debut. But this brand new one, Eels Time, was recorded between California and Dublin, Ireland, and it consists of 12 brand new tracks with some of their most introspective and personal material in recent years. So Eels Time looks like this is only on black vinyl, coming in at a suggested list of $28. Brand new stuff also from Pedro the Lion. This is called Santa Cruz, coming on green colored vinyl. This one coming in at a suggested list of $26. And for you fans of the Scott Pilgrim universe, here's a brand new one called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. It's an original soundtrack from the Netflix series, the animated Netflix series. The description says it is a double black and white colored vinyl pressing, and it's an original score by chiptune rockers Anna Managuchi. I think I'm saying that right. So this is the soundtrack to the new Netflix animated series, one black, one white colored vinyl. Lots of other cool looking stuff in there as well. Scott Pilgrim takes off. This one coming in at a suggested list of $30. And then we also have a pair of that Now Playing series. These are the real low price greatest hits albums, new compilations being put out by Rhino Records. We have new ones from Casey and the Sunshine Band and Sister Sledge, each of those part of the Now Playing series. Looks like the Casey and the Sunshine Band is going to be on clear vinyl. Sister Sledge does not mention whether or not that's on colored vinyl, but some of them are. The low price point on that, these things are actually really affordable, coming in, each of them at a suggested list price of only $20. We also have a great slate of stuff on the reissue front for the 7th as well. Kicking things off with Uncle Ted himself, Tooth, Fang, and Claw from Ted Nugent's Amboy Dukes. It was that transitional period from Amboy Dukes to Ted Nugent's Amboy Dukes to Ted Nugent and the Amboy Dukes to just Ted Nugent. But here we are, Tooth, Fang, and Claw, the one that was originally released in 1974. And it's got, of course, some great stuff on there, Living in the Woods and Great White Buffalo. This is where that one comes from originally. This one coming on red vinyl from Purple Pyramid Records, part of Cleopatra, listing for about $28. Speaking of anniversary reissues, here's a 40th anniversary edition of Learning to Crawl from the Pretenders. A couple of different variations of this one, coming from Rhino Records, so it's one of those Rhino reissues. Now this is a 2018 remastering, but being pressed on vinyl for the first time. Not the album itself, but that remastered version of the album on vinyl for the first time. So celebrating the album's 40th anniversary, this reissue is true to the original 1984 release, with the artwork and the track listing remaining the same. The only difference, as we'd said, is that 2018 remastering by the album's original producer, Chris Thomas. So there's a black vinyl version of this listing for about $25. And an indie exclusive, or brick and mortar rather, a Learning to Crawl coming on clear vinyl. This one also listing for about $25. Now something from Yes, a little later in their catalog, but still a 30th anniversary edition. This is Talk, as I mentioned, that 30th anniversary edition, coming on white vinyl. Double LP pressing. This one also includes a bonus track. This was originally released, by the way, in 1994, and Talk was the 14th studio album by the prog rock legend band Yes, and the last to feature guitarist Trevor Rabin and keyboard player Tony Kaye. So Talk, the 30th anniversary edition from Yes, coming on white vinyl. This one is a double LP listing, a little heavy, coming in at a suggested list price of $47. Onward now to The Cure. This is another one coming from Rhino in their reissue series. This is Japanese Whispers, The Cure singles, November 82 through November of 83. Limited edition clear vinyl pressing housed in a special trans clear sleeve. Not quite sure what that means. Remastered by Robert Smith himself and cut by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studios in London. Japanese Whispers is a compilation of Cure singles and B-sides that were released between November of 1982 and a year later in November of 1983. So this is a reissue of that compilation. So The Cure, Japanese Whispers, this one on clear vinyl, limited edition, coming in at a suggested list price of $37. Well, I guess we're full of anniversary editions this week, by the way. Pray for Mojo, the 25th anniversary edition, coming from Michigan's own Mustard Plug. Released in 1999, the 12 upbeat tracks on Pray for Mojo were produced by punk legends Bill Stevenson and Stephen Egerton of the Descendants, we'll just call them the Descendants. For the 25th anniversary, Mustard Plug adds their surprise radio hit, an upbeat sing-along rendition of The Freshman, written by fellow Michigan band Verve Pipe. We remember that. So a ska punk version of Freshman. I'm going to have to dig that one up and listen to it online. That could be fun. Pray for Mojo, the 25th anniversary edition on blue-colored vinyl from Mustard Plug with that surprise bonus cover of The Freshman, coming in at a suggested list price of $25. Another repressing of a great soundtrack. They bring this out every couple of years and change the vinyl color, but this is Tank Girl, the original soundtrack from that film, that cool cult classic film. This time around, coming from Real Gone Music and neon yellow colored vinyl. It's a Tough Call, which is a bigger cult classic. This is our description, by the way. The Tank Girl movie or its accompanying soundtrack. So I can vouch. This is just a fantastic soundtrack with the likes of Devo. Joan Jett and Paul Westerberg is on here. Bjork, Veruca Salt. Bush, Belly, I think I mentioned Devo, so some great stuff on here. The Tank Girl original soundtrack on neon yellow colored vinyl this time around, listing for about $40. And you remember that one song from those guys, right? Okay, well this is Born to Quit, a reissue from the Smoking Popes. They had the big song, Need You Around. I think they had one or two other ones that charted as well. Coming on pink and white colored vinyl, this reissue from Real Gone Music. The Smoking Popes, Born to Quit, originally released in 1994, by the way, coming in at a suggested list price of $34. A very cool blues reissue on the front for the 7th as well. This is Burning Hell, part of the Bluesville Acoustic Sound series coming from John Lee Hooker. On Craft Recordings, that is the label. The description says that Burning Hell was recorded in 1959 in Detroit, but the album was not released until 1964, and even then, it was only available in the UK. So this 180-gram vinyl pressing marks the first official single LP worldwide release that this album has ever seen. Pressed, by the way, at QRP in partnership with Acoustic Sounds, the album features John Lee Hooker's solo as he plays originals and classics. This is a cool album. So Burning Hell, John Lee Hooker, part of the Bluesville Acoustic Sounds series, coming in at a suggested list price of $30. Next up is a trio of reissues from the late, great Jimmy Buffett. We have Living and Dying in 3/4 time, One Particular Harbor, and Fruitcakes. The first two, by the way, are single LP reissues. Living and Dying in 3/4 time was Buffett's 4th studio album, released in 1974. That one listing for about $28 and coming on black vinyl, by the way. One Particular Harbor, also a single LP. This is his 12th studio album, released in 1983. This one also listing for $28. And then Fruitcakes, a double LP, originally released in 1990. This was Buffett's 18th studio album and features the title track along with Uncle John's Band and a whole host of other great Jimmy Buffett stuff. This one a double LP on black vinyl, listing a little bit heavier because of that. $33 is the suggested retail price. Another trio of reissues expected. This is from Dwight Yoakam. We're looking for Guitars, Cadillacs, etc., and Hillbilly Deluxe, and Buenos Noches from A Lonely Room. The Guitars, Cadillacs, etc., coming in at a suggested list price of $25. That one is on black vinyl. Also on black vinyl is Hillbilly Deluxe, although they say it is an indie exclusive, but give me no information in the description as to whether or not this is on colored vinyl, so it could be either or. But that one listing for $25 as well. And then Buenos Noches from A Lonely Room from Dwight Yoakam, also listing for about $25. And it says this one is an indie exclusive. But again, no indication as to the color of vinyl on that one. We've got a couple of compilations to wrap up our week for the 7th of June. First up is Simply the Best, a double LP comp from Tina Turner. Blue colored vinyl actually is what we're looking on this. Simply the Best stands as the premier anthology featuring an 18-song lineup of Tina Turner's most cherished hits. So you get highlight tracks such as The Best, What's Love Got to Do With It, I Don't Want to Lose You, Steamy Windows, Private Dancer, and a whole lot more of them on there. Double LP on blue vinyl coming from Rhino Parlophone, Simply the Best by Tina Turner, listing for about $35. And finally, a cool college radio alternative compilation, originally released, by the way, in 2001. This is a repressing of that. Ear Bleeding Country, the best of Dinosaur Jr. This one coming on double black and white splatter colored vinyl from Cherry Red Records. So Dinosaur Jr., some cool stuff from them. Ear Bleeding Country, the best of. Holy cow, this one lists way up there. Coming in at a suggested list price of around $50. I guess you just don't see too much of Dinosaur Jr. coming on the reissue front. Well, that is a quick check of some of the releases headed our way for Friday, the 7th of June, 2024. If you're local and you see something you'd like us to pre-order, just contact us here at the store and we will take care of that for you. If you'd like to see that full list again, everything that we didn't get around to mentioning for the 7th of June, head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, just look for the upcoming releases link and click on that. You'll be taken to a PDF that shows you the full list of everything coming out for that particular date. So until next time, this is Jim from Radio Wasteland. Thanks a lot for being here. Don't forget, by the way, hit that subscribe button, do all the stuff that YouTube likes you to do. We'll get along fine. Thanks.